8 things never share with anyone. Imagine a life where you are unshaken by the opinions of others, where your inner peace is unbreakable, and where true happiness is not a fleeting moment, but a constant state of being. What if the secret to living a life full of wisdom, contentment, and strength lies in the things you choose to keep within? Today we explore the power of protecting your inner world, understanding that some things are meant to stay private in order to preserve your peace and happiness. Stay with me, because what you learn today will change the way you live forever. Number 1. Personal vulnerability. We all have moments where we feel vulnerable, when the weight of our fears, insecurities, and weaknesses feel exposed. These are the moments when our true selves seem laid bare, and it's tempting to seek comfort by sharing those feelings with others. But here's the truth. Exposing your vulnerabilities too openly can lead to unnecessary judgment and emotional turbulence. The world is full of people who may not understand your journey or respect your struggles, and sharing too much can open the door to misunderstanding and criticism. Take a moment and reflect. How many times have you shared something personal only to feel the sting of regret later? Vulnerabilities are deeply personal, and when they are shared without the right consideration, they can be used against you or simply dismissed. This doesn't mean that you should bottle up your emotions or hide them entirely, but there is immense power in maintaining control over your innermost feelings. True strength is not in revealing every fragility to the world, but in recognizing the value of personal introspection. When you share a vulnerability, you give others the opportunity to judge or misinterpret it. But when you keep it within, you retain the power to understand it, grow from it, and use it as a force for personal development. Happiness comes not from the approval or sympathy of others, but from the inner strength and self-awareness you cultivate through managing your emotions. By keeping some of your vulnerabilities to yourself, you protect your peace and maintain a sense of dignity, rather than letting external forces dictate your emotional state. You have the power to decide when, how, and with whom you share your inner world, and doing so wisely will safeguard your happiness and your personal growth. Number 2. Unresolved conflict. We've all been there, caught in a conflict, whether personal or professional, where emotions run high and tensions escalate. It's easy to feel the urge to share your side of the story with others, seeking validation or a listening ear. But here's the truth. Unresolved conflicts should never be discussed before they are fully understood and resolved. Doing so only adds fuel to the fire and clouds your judgment. Think about it. When you're in the heat of a conflict, emotions are raw and judgments are often clouded. The need to vent, to share your grievances with others, may feel cathartic in the moment, but it often leads to further misunderstandings and alienation. The people you confide in may not have the full context of the situation, and their perspective can sometimes skew the truth or intensify the conflict. The Stoic wisdom teaches us the value of calm reflection before speaking. When we find ourselves in a conflict, it's essential to take the time to process our emotions, consider the perspectives of others, and seek a solution that aligns with our values. Sharing a conflict before resolving it doesn't help. It only creates more emotional noise. True happiness comes from resolution and peace, not from drama or external validation. When you're faced with a conflict, give yourself the space to understand the situation fully. Reflect, breathe, and gather your thoughts before engaging with others. This approach not only prevents further emotional turmoil, but also allows you to communicate with clarity, wisdom, and integrity. By keeping unresolved conflicts to yourself, you protect your peace and prevent unnecessary drama. You allow yourself the opportunity to resolve the issue with a clear mind and emerge from the situation stronger, wiser, and more at peace with yourself. The path to lasting happiness begins with the ability to face conflicts with calmness and clarity. Number 3, private failures. We've all experienced failure at some point in our lives, whether it's a career setback, a personal decision that didn't turn out the way we hoped, or a relationship that fell apart. These moments are painful, no doubt, and it's natural to feel the urge to share our struggles with others. But here's a crucial truth. Your private failures are yours to learn from, not to broadcast. Sharing them prematurely can invite unnecessary judgment or pity, but more importantly, it detracts from the valuable lessons you can extract from these experiences. When you experience failure, the emotional reaction is often raw and unprocessed. In those moments, we're tempted to seek validation, reassurance, or sympathy. While support is important, relying on others for emotional validation before you've learned the lesson yourself can prevent you from growing. Failure is not something to be ashamed of. It's a stepping stone to greater wisdom. The Stoics believed that our setbacks are opportunities to refine our character, develop resilience, and improve our actions moving forward. But this process requires introspection, not external validation. Imagine for a moment, what if instead of rushing to share your failures with others, you use that moment to reflect on what went wrong and how you can adjust your approach moving forward? True happiness comes not from seeking sympathy, but from using your failures as a powerful tool for growth. By keeping your failures private and taking the time to reflect, you gain the clarity to rise stronger. Each failure, when processed with wisdom, becomes a powerful lesson that shapes your future success. The person who shares their failure too quickly misses the opportunity to extract the invaluable knowledge that only time and reflection can bring. Instead of allowing your mistakes to define you in the eyes of others, use them to define the person you wish to become. The true reward lies in the growth that comes from within. Number 4, excessive emotions. We all experience intense emotions, moments when we're overwhelmed by anger, sadness, frustration, or even joy. These emotions can feel consuming, and it's easy to want to share them with others in the heat of the moment. However, here's the truth. Excessive emotions, when shared impulsively, often lead to regret and misunderstanding. It's in these moments of heightened emotion that we're most vulnerable to saying things we don't mean or acting in ways we later wish we could undo. Think about the last time you shared your emotions during a time of intense stress or anger. It might have felt relieving at first, but chances are the aftermath wasn't as satisfying. When emotions run high, our judgment is clouded, and we often speak from a place of pain rather than clarity. True happiness isn't found in the outward expression of unfiltered emotion, but in the ability to process and understand those emotions internally before sharing them with others. The Stoics emphasized the importance of emotional control. They understood that emotions, while natural, should never dictate our actions or words. Instead of allowing anger, frustration, or sorrow to dictate your interactions, take a step back, pause before you react. Breathe, reflect, and give yourself time to understand the underlying cause of your emotions. Only then can you express your feelings from a place of wisdom, not impulsivity. When you allow yourself this space to process, you take the power back. You prevent yourself from reacting emotionally and instead choose to respond with thoughtfulness and clarity. This approach fosters peace, reduces unnecessary conflict, and opens the door to happiness. Remember, emotions don't have to control your happiness. You have the ability to master them, leading to a life of greater peace and emotional intelligence. Number 5, personal goals. We all have dreams, aspirations, and personal goals that drive us. Whether it's achieving career success, improving our relationships, or cultivating personal growth, these goals are what propel us forward. However, sharing these goals before they are realized can actually work against us. The excitement of sharing your goals with others can quickly turn into external pressure or even unnecessary distractions that derail your focus. The impact of announcing your goals too soon. You may receive feedback, opinions, or expectations from others that can cause self-doubt or create a sense of obligation. People will often offer their own perspectives, which might not align with your vision, causing confusion or even discouragement. True happiness comes from the quiet, consistent pursuit of your goals, not from seeking validation or approval from others. The Stoic approach teaches us the value of inner discipline and quiet action. When we set personal goals, they should come from within, aligned with our values and purpose, rather than from external pressures. By keeping your goals to yourself and focusing on the daily actions that will lead to their accomplishment, you protect your vision from being diluted by other people's views. Imagine how much more powerful your journey would be if you allowed your goals to grow in the silence of your own determination. By maintaining your focus and working with intent, you build the momentum to succeed without being distracted by the opinions or expectations of others. Your happiness and fulfillment lie not in the applause or recognition you might seek, but in the joy of accomplishing what you set out to do for yourself. Remember, it's your journey, your purpose. Keep your goals close to your heart and let your actions speak louder than words. This is how you create lasting success and happiness, by allowing your inner strength to guide you, not the voices of the outside world. Number 6. Intimate relationships. Intimate relationships are some of the most precious and personal connections we can have in life. Whether it's a partner, close friend, or family member, these bonds shape us and bring both immense joy and vulnerability. But here's the truth. These relationships are sacred and should not be shared with the world. When we expose the private details of our most personal connections, we risk diminishing their depth, trust, and intimacy. Think about the last time someone shared intimate details of their relationship with you. It likely made you uncomfortable or caused you to judge the people involved. Similarly, when you broadcast the inner workings of your closest relationships, you open the door to external influence, judgment, and unnecessary complications. True happiness in intimate relationships comes from trust, respect, and mutual understanding, not from validation or opinions from others. The Stoics understood that privacy fosters strength and stability in relationships. When you share personal details with others outside your relationship, you take away the control and the sacredness that these moments should hold. Instead of turning to the outside world for opinions or sympathy, choose to nurture your relationships privately, building them on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. Imagine the power in holding your relationship's most meaningful moments within, letting them grow and deepen without interference. The Stoic mindset encourages us to protect what is most important to us by keeping it private, preserving its integrity. Your happiness doesn't come from sharing your relationship struggles or successes with others. It comes from cultivating deep, meaningful bonds that are not influenced by external voices. By keeping intimate matters between the two of you, or those directly involved, you allow your relationships to flourish based on trust and shared growth. This is the key to lasting happiness in personal connections. Privacy, respect, and a shared commitment to growth. Number 7. Fears and insecurities. We all have fears, things that keep us up at night, doubts that shake our confidence, and insecurities that whisper in the back of our minds. It's part of being human. However, sharing your deepest fears and insecurities can often give them more power than they deserve. When you expose your vulnerabilities without care, you risk allowing those fears to control your life, rather than facing them with the strength and courage they require. Think about it. Fear can feel paralyzing, and when we share it too openly, we often invite more worry or judgment. The opinions of others may either magnify our insecurities or lead to well-meaning but unhelpful advice that adds confusion to the mix. True happiness and peace come not from sharing your deepest fears, but from confronting and understanding them within yourself. You don't need others to validate your worries, but you do need to take responsibility for facing them. The Stoics taught that the way to conquer fear is through rational thinking and emotional resilience. Instead of giving into the fear and broadcasting it to the world, take a moment to reflect on its true source. Often our fears are exaggerated by emotion, and once we stop and analyze them, we see that they have less power than we initially believed. By taking ownership of your fears and insecurities, you reclaim control over your emotional state. Imagine how liberating it would feel to no longer be dictated by the fears that have been holding you back. When you choose not to share them impulsively, but instead process them with a calm and rational mind, you set yourself free. You regain your happiness by realizing that fears are not permanent obstacles, but temporary challenges that you are fully capable of overcoming. In the pursuit of happiness, your fears are not your enemies. They are invitations for growth. Confront them privately, rise above them, and transform them into wisdom that strengthens you. Number 8, material wealth and status. In today's world, there's a constant pressure to display success, whether it's through the possessions we own, the status we've achieved, or the outward signs of wealth. But here's a truth many overlook. Boasting about material wealth or social status not only attracts unnecessary comparison, but it can also cloud your sense of self-worth. True happiness does not come from the validation of others or from external possessions, but from within. Reflect for a moment. How often do you feel the need to compare your success to someone else's? It's easy to get caught up in this cycle, but the truth is, when you focus too much on showing off material success, you lose sight of the deeper fulfillment that comes from living a meaningful life. Wealth and status are fleeting. They can change in an instant. What you do with those resources, how you grow from them, and how you treat others is what defines your character and your happiness. The Stoics were masters of understanding the transience of material wealth. They believed that happiness is not found in possessions, but in the cultivation of virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. When we share the details of our wealth or social standing too freely, we invite envy, competition, and comparison, all of which pull us further from true contentment. Imagine the freedom in no longer needing to prove your worth through material displays. When you remove the need to broadcast your success, you release yourself from the expectations and judgments of others. Real fulfillment comes from using what you have to grow, to help others, and to live a life of purpose, not from seeking praise or acknowledgement. Instead of boasting about what you have, focus on building a life that is rich with wisdom, gratitude, and meaningful connections. True wealth is measured by your ability to find happiness and peace, regardless of external circumstances. That is the key to lasting fulfillment. Remember that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from external validation or material success. By protecting your vulnerabilities, emotions, relationships, and personal goals, you preserve the integrity of your inner peace and growth. The Stoic wisdom teaches us that the path to wisdom and happiness lies in mastering ourselves, not in seeking approval from others. Live with intention, act with integrity, and protect your inner world. Thank you for your time and attention today. Good luck as you continue on your journey toward wisdom, happiness, and a life rich with purpose.